Zero Gravity, we're building the largest AI layer 1 ecosystem, fully VM compatible. Recent testnet release at about 2,500 TPS. Our goal is to get to 10,000 TPS before our mainnet release. We're essentially making it possible to have all of AI live on blockchains. I've been investing into crypto probably since 2013, 14, when I bought some of my first Bitcoin. Then from there, invested in ICOs, 2016, 2017. Also for fun, did some Ethereum mining, Bitcoin mining.
Zero GM, Michael.
Zero GM.
It's good to see you here in Dubai at Token2049.
Yeah, great to see you.
Beautiful lunch, beautiful view. So I'm here today with the co-founder of Zero Gravity. He's a proud daddy, 7 months old daughter he has,
yes.
But he's grinding all the way to the top with Zero G. What are the investors? We tried to do this online, but the video was good, so I really wanted to have you on board today.
It's okay.
Yes. Michael, can you tell me a little bit about your journey? How did you end up in crypto or into this rabbit hole and ended up founding Zero Gravity with your two co-founders?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been investing into crypto probably since 2013, 14, when I bought some of my first Bitcoin. Unfortunately, didn't hold it long enough, but that's the story of my life. What I did, exactly. So then from there, invested in ICOs, 2016, 2017. Also for fun, did some Ethereum mining, Bitcoin mining before that. And then eventually found my way and said, I want to be an operator in the field, probably since the ICO days. But before I get to that part, I started out on the engineering and technical product management side at Microsoft and SAP Labs, and then switched over more to the business side at Bain & Company and Bridgewater Associates, a bit of a management consulting, TradFi background. Then I went back to Stanford and started my first unicorn company called Spartan, scaled that till 2019, and then it was quite large scale, 650 people and so on. Then COVID came along and was a big impact on the business model, and eventually kind of sold the company and so on. But 2022, one of my classmates reached out to me and he said, hey, we've invested in a few companies together. 5 years ago, I invested in Conflux. Two of the co-founders, Ming and Fan, wanted to start something more global scale. Are you interested in meeting with them? And I said, yeah, I've been wanting to do something in the crypto space and Web3. Let's meet. After 6 months of co-founder dating, I came to the conclusion that Ming and Fan are the best engineers I've ever worked with. And it didn't even matter what we start, we just had to get started.
And why do you feel that decentralized systems are better than traditional business, especially in AI?
So when you talk about things like OpenAI, which ironically is closed AI, because underneath you don't know what's happening. Where did the data come from? Who labeled the data? Like, what are the weights and biases of the model? Which version of the model you're getting? Where is it being run from? It's a black box. So you have to trust OpenAI that they do all this alignment work for you. Decentralized systems, full transparency, full ownership of that entire pathway. You know where the data, you know the provenance, you know where the data came from, you know who labeled the data, because you have entries all along the way. And that's particularly important when you need to verify what's underneath the hood for major, what we call societal use cases. So if you want AI to run traffic control systems, if you want AI to run, airports, manufacturing facilities, all of that, how can you let a company run that without being able to verify what's underneath the hood?
Exactly, and you can have bad actors in the closed open circuit. So basically that is the problem that Zero Gravity solves.
Exactly. Imagine, for example, somebody breaks into some AI system and it's steering all humanoid robots in the city. You then basically have an army at your disposal. So that's very dangerous.
I remember you giving me that example with the Nike shoes that, if I'm gonna search, give me the top brands of street footwear, every time it's gonna be Nike, for example.
That's touch your data poisoning. Yeah,
exactly. Exactly. And now for the people who are not very familiar with zero gravity, what exactly is zero gravity?
Yeah, zero gravity, we're building the largest AI layer 1 ecosystem, fully VM compatible. Recent testnet release at about 2,500 TPS. Our goal is to get to 10,000 TPS before our mainnet release.
Galileo.
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 We're essentially making it possible to have all of AI live on blockchains. And so for that, we needed to re-architect all of the different systems that are responsible to make that happen. So you obviously have the execution layer, which is the layer 1. We have the storage piece, where you can store your data. Things like AI agent memories, for example, can be stored there. We have a compute network. So if you need to do things like inferencing, fine-tuning, you can do it in a completely permissionless, verifiable, and decentralized way. So again, where we talked about the trust side, if I want to know this particular request came from this GPU, came from this particular data center, from this model, you can now completely verify that with our infrastructure. So those are some of the key components. There's more like a service marketplace, which is like our version of the App Store, for example, that then enables this entire system to work. It sounds a bit complicated, but you need all these components to make this work.
Yeah, and right now the testnet is in V3, right?
V3, correct. We just released V3.
Yes. So we can expect mainnet this year?
Mainnet this year, yeah. We're targeting Q3 or so for mainnet now, yeah. Because we weren't quite happy with testnet V2 performance. And then we completely changed the architecture for V3, and the improvement was 4 to 5x in throughput and so on.
Yeah, and I think in your case, if you hurry to launch the token, it can have a bad impact if it's not launched in the right market conditions. So it's better to focus on the tech, focus on the ecosystem that I would love to know more about, because I know you guys have a cool new ecosystem projects out there. So happy to learn more about this.
Yeah, we have a 88.8 million ecosystem program. And as part of the program, we're running one campaign right now called Guild on Zero G, which is about 10% allocated to that. So we're looking for the best builders in AI and Web3 to work with us. And so we've already made about 10 investments so far, anything from on-chain credit scoring that's using AI to a longevity company that's utilizing AI for like research, kind of a DeSci perspective, to a DEX that's using AI for rebalancing on their pools. And yeah, the list goes on. AI agents that are doing trading decisions for you. So super cool companies that are really going to change how we interact with blockchain.
Can the community members invest in those kinds of projects?
That's a good idea. We haven't spent too much time thinking through that, but we definitely want to encourage all those companies to create community rounds so that the community can be there from day one. So I think we're still in the kind of process of building the ecosystem playbooks, because we really want companies that come to Zero G to feel like, oh, by joining the Zero G network, I have a competitive advantage. Everything gets accelerated. I get a great community that's supporting kind of AI. That's the feeling that we want. And I think community rounds should be part of that. That's a good point.
I mean, you did a really good job with the no sale, because you actually gave the community better valuation than some of the VCs and other investors. And I think that's something that you don't usually see in other projects.
Yeah, and many people misunderstood the node sale as well, because there was this like bad overhang from previous node sales, which the community thought were very extractive. And so we had a little bit of that negative kind of perception and bad press, but then we re-educated people around it as well and structured it in a very particular manner so that people exactly get a much better price points, and we can really help the community and support the community of being there, that's been there from day one, to participate really early as well. And so we want to have long-term winners, like win-win situations, and long-term owners on the network, because the mission of making AI a public good, it's not a 1 or 2 year thing. It's measured in decades before we get to the world that we really want to see.
And in times like this, Michael, tell me, how do you stay resilient and grounded and really focus on building and not what happens in the markets at the macro level, at the crypto level? I mean, you have to have all these things in your head all the time. Pressure for investors, you have to launch the token, you have to do that. How do you stay grounded and resilient. It's not easy, I would assume.
Yeah, I have enough trading experience to know that I'm terrible at predicting a market, so I don't even try. Maybe we can come up with some like really sophisticated AI algorithm that gets us, 90% of the way there. But by and large, I try not to look at the market because I think a lot about the mission. And the mission, again, is of making AI public good. So what are the key components that we need to build to make that vision come to fruition? And so I focus on those aspects. I focus on what's in our control. Market's not in our control. So why do I worry about it? Like, I can worry about the things like who I hire, how I engage with the community, who I talk to, my thoughts. I can be in control of that. And so
Your family.
Family, exactly. When to start a family, when to, how to build the mainnet, the architecture, all of those are choices that I can make. So I worry about those things. And just making sure that every day I make the best decisions and keep myself in a healthy state of mind. And so I do a lot of things like meditation twice a day, minimum 20 minutes up to an hour twice a day. That's my ideal goal, about 2 hours a day. So I stay very grounded through that. This morning, for example, with the team, we had yoga together. So it was super fun. Went for a swim as well in the morning. So there's kind of these lifestyle habits that I've taken from my previous company with me to just stay very grounded.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if you don't have these healthy habits, you're just gonna get overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
And you have a lot of people depending on you, and you don't want that.
Absolutely. I mean, with Web3, it's 24/7, so you can easily be online all the time. But the human body wasn't designed that way. We need to sleep. We need to eat healthy foods. We need to exercise. All that needs to be part of and meditation, of course. You need to have a clear mind and be really plugged in to, stay grounded, as you said.
Where do you see zero gravity in 5 years? Are we gonna see retail non-crypto people using zero gravity products built on top of zero gravity?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, actually, I was thinking about this a little bit as I was asked a question yesterday on a panel. What does mass adoption of Web3 AI looks like? The easy answer would be to say, well, OpenAI on these other things, they have like 1 billion users, so we should have 1 billion users in Web3 AI. I actually think that's not the right way to approach it. Our perspective is that Web3 and AI should be used in societal level use cases. So if most of the smart cities, humanoid robots, coordination mechanisms for AI, like trading strategies, if they're all using kind of zero-G infrastructure, that to me looks like mass adoption, because that's where it really matters. Of course, if then other users, individuals want to use the privacy preserving aspects or verification aspects as well, then of course they're welcome to do it. But I think for us, to avoid this Terminator-like situation where we're overrun by AI, we just want to make sure that that's coordinated on blockchain. So those really important systems. So I would like in 5 years most major systems that are utilizing AI for that to be run on a zero-G-like infrastructure.
Before we wrap this up, Michael, because I know you're a busy person, what advice can you give to people that are entering the crypto rabbit hole, or to the builders that want to build on top of zero gravity or just join the AI space as community members?
Yeah, we welcome all builders to build together with us. We want to, again, think for long term. So we want to attract builders that are thinking of problems not just for the next 3 months, but really for years to come, and solving really difficult problems. How do you align AI, for example? How do you do proof of useful work? How do you build DeFi applications that work with agent-to-agent communications? Like there's so many fascinating problems, and we want to work with the best builders in that. So we welcome everybody to build on our chain, to interact with us, to go through our ecosystem program, to interact with our DevRels, interact with me personally as well. We love to chat. You can always follow us on Discord and my X and our company's X as well. So there's many ways of interacting with us. But
I remember when you talked at some point, you said that in the beginning you didn't value the power of the community to be that big, and then you got really involved and you really understood that you can do a product in Web3 without having a strong community, and you really pushed into the direction, being more present, talking directly with the community members, explaining them everything that you do, everything what zero-G is. Do you have any final words for them?
Of course. I mean, community is absolutely essential on Web3 because you can copy somebody's source code, you can take people from somebody's team, but you can't rebuild the network effects that you create through the community. So one of those is you attract the best builders that then attract more users to their apps, that then attracts more liquidity, and then it becomes a positive feedback loop. And so that's super essential about building in this space, is to really think community first. Because in Web2, everything is more at the application layer already. And so it's very much about build an MVP, go find your first customers, build something people love, you get your first 100 customers, and you're like, okay, now I have product market fit, and then you start scaling revenue. Very different in Web3, because some of these technologies take years to build. I mean, our mainnet, once we release it, will have been a 2-year journey, basically.
Yeah.
And so it's you need the belief and the decentralization aspects of the community to be there from day one. And so absolutely essential. It changed my mindset very quickly since I entered the space.
Thank you for this, Michael.
A pleasure.
Bullish on zero gravity.
Thank you.
Go GM.
Thank you for being part of the journey. Zero GM.